What is up, everybody? It's Critics on Critics. This is the second episode that I've ever done for this, and I have a very special guest on, Rachel Wagner. She's also a fellow YouTuber, also does movie reviews and a ton of other things. She got a podcast on iTunes. You can find her on Rachel's Reviews there. You can find her on Rachel Wagner on YouTube. She's working tirelessly. Rachel, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I've been wanting to talk to you a while just because the first time we met, I don't know if you remember this, we were in line for the Mummy screening, and that was regrettable, first of all, to be in line for that. But you were ahead of me. I was being a dummy and was not in line at the time, and I needed someone to save my spot because I had to go do something, and I found you. I was like, hey, can you please save my spot for me? And you're like, sure, and you were super nice about it. And, that's the first time that we met.
That's good. I'm glad I came through.
You don't remember that?
No, I remember meeting you. I was thinking it was Wonder Woman for some reason.
Oh, might have been. Those were pretty close together, weren't they?
Yeah,
They're a couple weeks
the next
apart.
week. But I'm glad that I successfully made a good impression.
Yeah.
But no, I do, because you gave me, I think, a Moana digital code, I'm pretty sure. That was exciting.
Because for some reason I when I go to these screenings, I bring just a stack of digital downloads that I haven't used from like the Blu-rays that I've gotten, and I'm just like, I basically am like a kid with a trench coat full of like screeners, just like, hey, you guys want to bash some of these?
I'm like, you give me Moana code, you'll be my friend forever.
Well, speaking of Disney, I think that's kind of your bread and butter when it comes to what you do. So tell us a little bit about your channel, how to get started.
Yeah, so I was a blogger for a while, with a personal blog. It's coming next year, will be my 10-year anniversary with my personal blog.
That's awesome.
And I tore my MCL in my knee, and I couldn't move really, and I was getting so bored, and I was getting so depressed, and so I needed something fun to do, and I'd always wanted to watch the entire Disney canon, and even the obscure ones, the weird ones, whatever. I'd always wanted to do that, and so I set up my blog, 54 Disney Reviews, because at the time there were 54 films in the Disney canon. I was just going to do that, and I was going to be done with the blog, and that was going to be all it was.
Yeah.
But I had so much fun that I just started reviewing movies, and so originally I was a blogger, but then I decided because of work, I work in social media, and so I kind of wanted to, I had gotten like Twitter and Facebook and some of the other things down. I was like, YouTube's the thing, that I need to kind of figure out and get down. And I had been doing just some unboxings where I was just like me in front of my laptop, very, very, very green.
What unboxings were they?
Like subscription boxes, like Loot Crate and things like that. And so I started doing that, and then I just, for fun, I started doing reviews, and then I did the entire. Disney canon on my blog, and I did the entire Disney canon on YouTube. So separately, I watched both, and that was all of last year.
What?
And, it took me the whole year to do it.
Holy cow. That's amazing.
And it was very grueling, but it was very rewarding too. And then I just started talking to my friends about stuff, and I found that my friends really were really into it and really wanted to be involved, and so I started sort of podcasting that way. The first one we did, me and my friends Abby and Jeremy did all of the Star Wars movies leading up to Force Awakens, and then with my friend Tom, we reviewed all of the Star Trek movies, which I had never seen any of them, so that was really fun. And I've just sort of, it's been a fun way to sort of meet people, get to know friends I already had, and also to explore different fandoms. I reviewed last season of Doctor Who with my friend Jonathan, who's super into that, and that was really fun. And just kind of, some of them are just individual episodes. We just started with my friend Amber. We're reviewing all the Hallmark movies because that's sort of our guilty pleasure. That's what we enjoy. Okay. And that's actually been really fun and really rewarding. And so I don't know, kind of all over the place a little bit as far as the podcast, but yeah, Disney and animation. I review every single animated film that comes out on my channel or my blog, one or the other. Sometimes I don't do both. Sometimes I do one. Sometimes I do the other. Yeah. But yeah, so it's just a lot of fun.
I gotta compliment you on that, because like the tenacity that you put towards getting these videos out, and I think it's great that it started out just as like, I have nothing to do, I need to do something right now, because that's if you're doing it because, I want to make money and I want a business out of this, it's not going to ever go far because everybody burns out at that. But it's a passion for you. And I love that it's specifically honed in on like the Hallmark movies or the Disney movies. It's like, it feels like those niches are kind of like, that's how you get more popular when you're zoning in on something. And YouTube picks up on that. Like, I don't know anybody that's doing just Hallmark movie reviews. Like, I know nobody in the YouTube sphere that's doing that.
It's the Hallmarkies podcast. We just started. We've only had. We're going to have our 4th episode tomorrow, and so.
Now, is that on the YouTube channel or the podcast?
It'll be on both.
Oh, nice.
It'll be on both, and so we'll have a video version on the podcast. We'll have an audio version. I mean, a video version on YouTube, audio version on podcast, and it's just been really fun. I have really good chemistry with my co-host, and it's not like we know these are silly, but like Hollywood doesn't make romantic comedies anymore that are family friendly, that the whole family can watch and enjoy, and we're gonna have to go to Hallmark. They're the only place that makes those anymore, and
fair point.
And I really enjoy them, so or enjoy a lot of them at least, and so we're having fun, and that's kind of I do most of my filming on Saturday, and then I just spread it out over the course of the week. Unless it's a podcast or something like that, then I do that. But I don't know, it's just become kind of my passion and something that helps me because, like I said, I work in social media, so everything I learn as part of my channel and designing thumbnails and different things like that helps me with my work, and it's just been really great, really fun. And I've met people from I've done podcasts with people from Australia, from in videos, and gotten to know people from England, from all over the place, and it's been all over the United States. It's just been really, really, really fun.
Now, with me, when it comes to these channels, or with YouTube in general and getting reviews out, I found the hardest thing for me personally is to just be in front of the camera to do something. What were some of the early challenges that you had?
My hardest thing is not using filler words, and I still suck at that. And I'm not. That's my if I could just if I had a genie, I could make one wish: stop using filler words because it's so hard. Yeah. And that, but I've always been a pretty extroverted person, so being in front of the camera is not that hard for me. I think as far as filming, the just being concise, which I'm not that great at, and I have to work at. And some films are really hard to kind of describe and think about. Like I saw the anime film, the Miyazaki masterpiece Nausicaa, and we did a podcast on that. We've been reviewing all the Ghibli Fest films that they have been re-releasing in the theaters, and that movie is so hard to describe. Yeah, it's very layered. It's very complicated. And I felt like the podcast, I liked it. It was fun, but I felt like it was sort of a big gushing session. We were just talking about how much we loved it, and I don't know how academic and concrete it was, but oh well. That's also another good point that you brought up, because me and you are going to be talking a little bit about Blade Runner over on your channel. We're going to start that up right after this, and. When it comes to those movies, whether it's Mother, whether it's one of those that are just really beloved by the fans, and that it's such a nuanced and layered film, you can't say enough when it comes down to it. Like when I do a review on something like that, I'm terrified because it's I'll talk about the things that I liked, and then some commenter will be like, well, why did you talk about this thing? And then, or some hardcore fan will say, oh, it's really this and not this, or you pronounce their name wrong or something like that, and you're like, I'm sorry,
downvote. What happened?
Yeah.
That's a funny thing. Like when I've noticed the thumbs down on my videos, it's not because they didn't like the video. It's because they didn't like my opinion. Yeah. And so they're thumbs downing the opinion, but it's but did you like the video still?
Did I explain? I actually got one of the biggest compliments you can get the other day. I can't remember what the video was for, but I was pretty strong in that I didn't like the movie, and I explained.
Oh, was it the Glass Castle?
Maybe it was the Glass Castle. I really didn't like the Glass Castle.
I remember that one.
And I believe that, because some people say, ranting is very immature. I don't think so. I think it is a valid response to a film, but I think it should be used very sparingly. Yeah. The 2 times a year. very sparingly, or it doesn't really mean anything. Unless you're one of these people who does it as a shtick for laughs, and you're talented enough to do that. I'm certainly not. But anyway, I was really glad because I got a comment on my video saying, I really disagree with you, but I subscribed to your channel because you really explained your opinion well. I was like, that is like the best compliment you can get.
That is, no, definitely. If somebody still is wanting to know your thoughts on things, they value what you have to say over what they think about it personally. Yeah,
because it can be really hard to have an unpopular opinion. I was so nervous before filming my Rogue One review because I love Star Wars, and it's not a horrible movie, but I
trigger alert, everybody. Here we go.
I left feeling very disappointed in it. I thought that it was kind of boring, and I thought the ending was sort of fun, but I just didn't feel any emotional bond to the characters, and that characters are really big for me in Star Wars. They're part of what makes it enjoyable. And I don't know, I just thought it was very muddled, and I was confused at what it was trying to say a lot of the times, and I don't know.
It just might have been ahead of the curve on that one, because like people are now starting to catch up to that and realize, well, okay, this was manufactured. This wasn't directed. There was a lot more studio help in this than what they were expecting.
Yeah, it just felt, especially the Saw Gerrera stuff, felt very muddled and confused. I didn't understand what his character was, and if he was supposed to be a father figure, why he was torturing this guy. I had no idea. And I remember about
what was the alien's name? Oh, Porcata! Whatever his name is. That that's my Saw Gerrera impression.
And last year was like the year for me not liking almost any of the blockbusters, and I felt like such a sourpuss. But I didn't really like Fantastic Beasts. I didn't really like. They weren't horrible, but
lukewarm.
I really didn't like Jason Bourne. I don't know. There was just a bunch. Suicide Squad, Batman v Superman.
Oh, but so I can't blame you for that. That's just a bad year.
X-Men Apocalypse. I didn't like. There was just like a ton of blockbusters that I was like, and so this year, in my opinion, has been much better as far as that. The animation was much better last year than this year. Yeah. But as far as the blockbuster films, I feel like this one has been much better. Yeah. With films like Dunkirk and Spider-Man: Homecoming and Wonder Woman, which I loved.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to get your take on, speaking of anime, if we want to transition over to this. So I went and saw Your Name this past year. It was incredible. I think it was one of those incredibly underrated films that nobody really went and saw.
We might have talked about this when we first met.
Yeah. But there's a new developing story. J.J. Abrams doing a live action version. Hot take. So what do you think?
I did a whole video on this if people are interested.
Oh boy.
Responding to it. And I wasn't as negative as some people thought I was going to be. When I first heard about it, because I was going in to see Mulan at the AMC. They're rescreening all these Disney movies. And when I came out of the movie, I had like 35 notifications. I'm like, what is the live action movie? Your Name. And so there are some things to be hopeful about it. The first thing is that there's talks that Denis Villeneuve will direct it.
Really?
Which he hasn't made I don't think he's made a bad movie, and he hasn't made an ugly movie, that's for sure. And so that's and he's just made Blade Runner, which is getting all this positive buzz.
Yes, fingers crossed for Blade Runner. We haven't seen it yet.
It's gotten
this weekend.
All this positive buzz. It has a really high RT score, and so that's confidence boosting. And also, you got to think if J.J. Abrams is producing it, like he basically resurrected Star Wars from the dead. Yes. And so if I trust him with one beloved franchise,
and Star Trek. Nobody talks about Star Trek, but
and Mission Impossible.
It was way more difficult to reboot Star Trek. Yeah. Than it was for Star Wars. Because Star Wars, there's a built-in audience. Right. They're going to watch whatever. Even if George Lucas came back and did Episode 7, the fans would have been... But Star Trek, like, that was tough. And to bring in Chris Pine and to... No, I agree
create a whole new timeline and everything.
Really? Yeah. Still pay tribute to
and
it.
he rebooted Mission Impossible basically with 3.
Yeah, he's kind of the reboot man, isn't he?
He's good, yeah.
He's Bob the Builder.
I was totally on board with him coming in for Episode 9. I was not one of those people who's like, I want something more edgy. Like, no, I don't.
So what do you want out of Your Name, though? Do you want this to be a straight adaptation, or do you want Denis Villeneuve to kind of take his liberties on it?
I don't. It's hard. There's like a happy in between for remakes. I don't want a shot-for-shot remake like the kind of guy with Beauty and the Beast. Okay, I don't want it to be... If this thing comes out and it's like about two 2 kids in Ohio, I will be so mad. Like, it's so mad.
They made Scarlett Johansson plays both of them.
Yeah. I'll be so mad because, but yeah, so those are the things that give some, plus the fact that they have the original producers and original team very involved. So
they do. Okay.
Those are all good signs.
Yeah.
But the things that I'm surprised they're doing it because you just had this huge skunk with Ghost in the Shell, which I felt like, because Ghost in the Shell has way more fans than Your Name. Like,
absolutely.
Ghost in the Shell has had many movies. It's had TV series. It's had, it has a way bigger fan base, no question. And they couldn't even get any of those people to come out opening weekend to see it. And, I didn't think the trailers were that bad. I didn't think,
it felt Blade Runner-y. I'll give them that. They really tried to do that, but
it felt like I was just really surprised that it did as badly as it did. But anyway, I just feel like all of these anime adaptations have been really pretty poorly received, and so you're gonna have to spend a lot of money to make Your Name, I think. Mm-hmm. And I'm just really surprised that they are doing it, first of all, and then second of all, there's like things that are absolutely essential. It has to be Japanese. It has to be in Japan, because the Japanese religion, I think it's Shinto religion, with the chords and the bands and the time travel and everything that's in there is so essential to that story.
No, definitely.
Making any kind of sense and working, because it's the spiritual yearning that he feels, which draws him to look for her and draws him to find her. And so if you lose that spirituality and it just becomes like a teenage romance, that would be horrible. And so it makes me really, really nervous. Yeah. Because I fear they won't do that, and it'll be like, I don't know.
For me, it feels like it's too soon. This movie it's not even out on Blu-ray yet.
Right.
And they're already doing a remake. It's like when these authors that do the big best-selling books say that they have a concept for a book and they've already signed a director on for it. It's like, what are you doing? You have no idea. Mm-hmm. First of all, if this is going to work, or second of all, if it's good enough. This one, barely anybody has had enough time to understand why this is such a good property. Mm-hmm. And I'm worried a lot of people will see the movie for the first time, get dissuaded because it's some Ohio thing where there's 2 star-crossed ScarJos and Matt Damons that are loving each other. And then where do you go from there? You can't tell somebody after that. Like, I know a lot of people that saw Ghost in the Shell where I said, well, you should probably watch the original. But at that point, they were done. Like, you already lost the audience that way. So, it's up in the air.
It's true.
I think you brought a lot of good points.
It's a strange thing too, that why do we feel the need to Americanize everything? Like, why? I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing about our culture. Like, they announced just the other day that they're making an American version of A Man Called Ove, which was a really charming, wonderful Swedish film.
What's that one about?
It's about it's kind of like As Good as It Gets. It's about this old man whose wife has died. And he's just basically like this cranky old man who wants to end his life, basically. And he's just in this very low point. And these neighbors, I think they're Iranian, or maybe Turkish, I can't remember. But anyway, they move in next door, and he's sort of grumpy about them at first, but then it starts to just sort of change his life, and you see flashbacks to his life, and it's just a really sweet little movie. And I just don't see why we need to have an American version of it. Why don't we just have the Swedish version of it? And they're remaking Tony Erdmann in American, because I guess the German version isn't, like, I don't know. I guess people are just so scared of subtitles that they can't deal with it.
I don't think people like reading too much. I may be out of my depth here, but I think Americans aren't a big fan of reading very much.
I guess so.
Sometimes it does distract from the beauty of like the cinematography if there's a lot of subtitles, I guess. But just read the subtitles. Quit being weird.
Yeah, agreed. So I'm nervous about it, and once I see like casting, and then I will. It seems like if everything goes out perfectly, and they get Denis Villeneuve, and they have all these producers, and they get it Japanese, and they have then I wouldn't mind if, because they did say in the quotes, they talked a lot about reinvention, and it takes it. I'm like, little nervous about that, but I honestly think Your Name is the best movie I've seen in 2 years, and I've seen
in 2 years.
2 years. It was my favorite movie last year, and I don't think I've seen a better movie this year.
Wow.
And that's probably 250 movies.
Yeah. Well, what would you say is the best movie of this year?
My favorite movie this year is a indie. It's called Step. It's a documentary about these girls in Baltimore that I saw at Sundance, and I just loved it. And I've just been I've seen it 4 times now, and
Really?
it just really inspired me so much about these girls that are on the step dance team. But it's really it's kind of like in Hoop Dreams. It's not really about basketball. It's about the boys and them getting and how basketball and their dreams and things affect their life. It's kind of the same way here with these girls. It's just tangentially about dance. It's about them getting to college and this amazing team, this school, and because there's a lot of people that just write off kids in the inner city. Like Baltimore's a pretty tough town, and not this school. They make a personal commitment that every single kid is going to go to college, and the amount of effort that they put into each of these girls is really great. And it just made me feel, in all this negativity that we have now, it made me feel so inspired and hopeful, and it was just great. But as far as mainstream movies, my favorite is Wonder Woman.
Yeah, Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman, I just connected emotionally with it. It made me, every time I've seen it probably 6 times now, not all at theater, but every time I've seen it, I've just bawled. It's just, for whatever reason, I get the flaws, I see the flaws, it's just, but
it's empowering.
It really connected with me emotionally, and how, like, I don't know, there's a scripture story that I love where it's about God looking down at the people and he says their hearts are far from me, and they are cold, and that's kind of how I felt like with and God starts to cry because he's so sad at the coldness of the people. And I kind of felt that way about Wonder Woman, that it's this, she's so hopeful, and she sees the depravity of man and what they're willing to do to each other and what they do. And it's just so heartbreaking. And so it really moved me emotionally, and I loved these scenes. Like the No Man's Land scene was just so amazing to me. That
part is what gets me. As soon as she does her Christopher Reeve turnaround, then she's in the costume, gets up, like,
so good.
I was sitting next to my wife, and we both just were like,
yeah. And I loved I loved Chris Pine. I loved her and Steve. I thought they complemented each other really well. He knew things. He knew things she didn't know. She knew things that he didn't know. It was not a men are stupid kind of feminist type story. It was they needed each other, and it wasn't also just like this warrior woman, which has become just as much a cliche as like the damsel in distress. She was soft at times. She cooed a baby. She was just this great character, and I loved it. And the CGI gets wonky at the end, and the villain isn't that great.
You can tell when Zack Snyder kind of creeps in and he's like, ooh, but let's have green screen.
Yeah, but I really didn't care. I don't know, it just didn't bother me. I was so connected emotionally by then that it didn't matter to me at all.
What are your hopes for the sequel? What do you want to see in Wonder Woman 2?
Yeah, I mean, I trust Patty Jenkins, so... But it's going to be interesting because they kind of have Batman v Superman created sort of a problem for them.
The whole universe, apparently, they're trying to backstep on, and with Flashpoint and what they're doing with that, it seems like it's open to whatever.
Well, that's good to hear.
I hear it's set in Cold War times, so we're going to be fighting Russia in this one.
Yeah, so I guess they kind of conveniently skip over World War II.
That's Cap's war. They don't want to just like have Wonder Woman come in and then Steve Rogers is like, nice shield.
I think it would be. I don't know. I will, because I guess Chris Pine is going to be in the next one, which makes me really nervous.
I don't like that.
Yeah, it makes me really nervous, and I hope it's just like flashbacks or something like that. Because if he like survives the crash or something, that would be super lame.
That's incredibly Captain America-y. I can't abide by that.
I know. It would be super lame because it's so emotional in the film, and
I hate when they bring back characters when they've like made this great emotional moment where they die and their death is worthy of the film.
Because when
It
she gets the
deserves-
picture back from Bruce, he's like, "Thanks for bringing him back to me." Like, this is not somebody that she like saw recently. Like, you get the impression that this is really valuable to her because it's this picture of.
And if he shows up out of nowhere, it's like,
it'd be
what
so
the hell?
lame.
All right, we can do some digital pictures now, I guess. Let's go to a photo booth, hang out.
Right. So that makes me really nervous, but I don't know. I just it'd be interesting to see if they go back to Themyscira. If we see, I don't know. I'm just open to whatever. I trust Patty Jenkins. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
but yeah, I do as well. I do as well, and I think she's already got a fat paycheck for this. Like she's getting all the money for this next one. So I hope that one's good.
Yeah.
So I guess to wrap everything up, I thank you again for coming on. I really appreciate you coming and nerding out with me.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman, anime, we've covered it all. You have so many things to plug, and I'm just gonna give you let's go 5 minutes. What can the people find from you?
So like I said, I am kind of scattered a little bit more than I should be, but my channel, Rachel's Reviews, on YouTube, we'll put a link in the description section.
Always.
And I do family movie night every Sunday where I review a family appropriate PG-13 or under film, and so you want to check that out. And like I said, I have all these various sort of podcasts, and my blog is 54 Disney Reviews, and so I just have fun. I'm a faster writer than I am doing YouTube, so I can pump out a blog pretty quickly. But it just depends on the project and the film and what I want to do. So 54 Disney Reviews, Rachel's Reviews. Check that out on iTunes and in YouTube, and you can follow me on Twitter at Smiling LDS Girl. So. And other social media. So anyway, like I said, I'm kind of all over the place, but it's fun.
Well, Rachel, thank you for coming on. I definitely appreciate it, and I'll see you on your channel.
Sweet. Great.